The prison phone crackled like a dying fire. I pressed the receiver closer to my ear. Her breathing came first. Slow, measured, almost amused. "They arrested the wrong person," she whispered. This was all an operation. "You were my target." The fluorescent light above me hummed. I stared at the concrete wall in front of me and imagined her. Orange uniform, hair tied back, still calculating. "My target?" I repeated. "Yes." A pause. Then softer. "The senator didn't know. The FBI didn't know, but you were the objective." The line went quiet except for the static. For a moment, I felt nothing. Not rage, not heartbreak, just confirmation, because while she was speaking, while she believed she was finally reclaiming power from behind reinforced glass, the small red light on my recorder blinked. Steady, patient. She thought she was confessing from a position of control. She didn't know I'd been preparing for this call since the day she first lied to my face. And she didn't know I had been recording long before she ever stepped into that hotel suite with her married senator lover. The arrest had been theatrical. Cameras flashing outside the five-star hotel, her face half hidden behind oversized sunglasses. The senator shouting about political sabotage. I watched it unfold on television, seated alone in our living room, our wedding photo still hanging on the wall, her lipstick still on the coffee mug in the sink. They said it was an ethics violation, misuse of classified briefings, conspiracy. But I knew it was simpler than that. Betrayal rarely needs complexity. I had noticed the shift months earlier. Late-night calls taken on the balcony, a new password on her phone, perfume she didn't wear for me anymore. She called it consulting. Political strategy meetings. She said the senator valued her insight. I nodded. I always nodded. Because I have learned something about deception. If you interrupt it too early, it adapts. So I let it breathe. I let her believe I was distracted, harmless, devoted. When she began coming home after midnight, I stopped asking questions. When she flinched at my touch, I stopped reaching. And when she told me I was too small to understand her ambitions, I smiled. Inside, something cold began organizing itself. I never hired a private investigator. I didn't need to. She underestimated me. That was her first mistake. I mirrored her phone to a secure cloud weeks before the arrest. I tracked the encrypted messaging app she thought was invisible. I watched hotel reservations appear before she even packed her suitcase. I printed nothing, saved nothing visibly. Everything lived in a silent archive. Dates, times, transfers. Because it wasn't just an affair. It was financial. Shell accounts, offshore deposits routed through consulting fees, and my name tied to shared assets. That was when I understood. I wasn't just the husband. I was insulation. A financial buffer. If the investigation ever began, I would absorb the first impact. She had positioned me as collateral damage. I remember standing in the kitchen one evening, while she laughed into her phone in the other room. Her voice was softer with him, warmer. I stared at my reflection in the dark window. You were never her partner, I told myself. You were her shield, and shields are meant to break. That night, I contacted a federal compliance attorney. Not to accuse, to inquire. Hypothetically, what happens when a spouse unknowingly becomes financially entangled? In political misconduct? What protects the innocent party? The answer was simple. Documentation, timing, silence. So I stayed silent, even when she began sleeping at conference hotels. Even when the senator's campaign started quietly moving money offshore. I waited, and then the FBI knocked on the hotel room door before I ever had to. The prison call was not her first confession. It was just the most arrogant. I married you because you were safe, she said through the receiver. Predictable. Easy to manage. I closed my eyes. And the senator? I asked. A stepping stone. She laughed softly. She thought she was still orchestrating something. Everything was structured, she continued. If the investigation expanded, you would have taken the fall first. Your accounts, your signatures, she exhaled. But it escalated faster than expected. There it was. The truth, stripped of pretense. I let the silence stretch. Then I said the only thing she didn't anticipate. Thank you. She paused. For what? For clarifying intent. When I ended the call, I didn't feel wounded. I felt precise. Because while she believed she had targeted me, she had just handed me prosecutable evidence voluntarily. I didn't confront her in person again. I didn't need to see her face. Instead, I forwarded the audio file to my attorney, to federal investigators, and carefully to an internal ethics watchdog within the senator's party. Anonymous. Strategic. The fallout was surgical. The senator resigned within 10 days. New charges were added. Conspiracy expanded. Her bail was revoked. When her lawyer called mine, outraged, claiming entrapment, I almost admired the audacity. She trusted him, her attorney argued. My lawyer responded calmly. He recorded a voluntary admission. There is no rage in documentation, no emotion in timestamps, just truth. And truth, when delivered without theatrics, devastates more efficiently than anger ever could. From prison, she tried calling again, 71 times in one evening. I let it ring. Each vibration against the table felt like a heartbeat slowing. She thought she had orchestrated a master operation. She forgot one variable. I had been watching the entire time. The house is quieter now. No late-night whispers on balconies. No strategic smiles over dinner. I removed our wedding photo last week. Not angrily, just methodically. I transferred my assets to accounts she never knew existed. Sold the house. Disengaged completely. People ask if I feel betrayed. The truth is simpler. I feel informed. She tried to use me as leverage, as insulation, as a fall guy. But I was never asleep. I was observing. And when she finally revealed her operation, she confirmed what I had already prepared for. Some people confuse patience with weakness. They mistake silence for ignorance. She made that mistake. And now she sits behind reinforced glass, replaying her own voice in court transcripts. While I sit in a quiet room, untouched, she thought I was the target. In the end, I was the trap.